Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is RemovableSanity and today I'm reviewing Dungeons of Hinterberg on the Series X, developed by Microbird Games and published by Curve Games. So what is Dungeons of Hinterberg? Dungeons of Hinterberg is a low-poly third-person action RPG set in an Alpine village where magical dungeons have suddenly appeared. This has been commercialised and is now a place for tourists like yourself to slay magical creatures in weird dungeons. The premise is you take control of Louisa, and armed with a sword and a tourist guide, you'll explore the beautiful Alpine village of Hinterberg and uncover the magic hidden within its dungeons. The game boasts 4 semi-open world regions, 25 dungeons to complete, a hub world, light RPG mechanics, puzzle solving and challenging combat. First up is accessibility. With regards to accessibility, there is a button remapping and camera invert. There's also an accessibility tab that holds options for screen shake, static picture overlay and the ability to turn off player death. Subtitle options do not exist, but in sound options there is the option to mute audio. Next is gameplay. It's somewhat poetic that for my holiday away, the game I was reviewing is at heart about going on holiday, getting away from it all and discovering yourself and the magic within. The game starts off with you seeing a little about the protagonist's early life, followed by some current life event information. You are Louisa, a law graduate who realised the strict regimented life of the corporate world is slowly killing her enthusiasm in life, so makes the decision to take a trip to the Alpine village of Hinterberg to try out a new sport called slaying. Here, magical dungeons have appeared with weird creatures to kill and puzzles to solve, and like any good business person, the local mayor has commercialised it. What could go wrong? The game is very much a slow burner of a game, with you introduced to a number of characters at your home hub, the village of Hinterberg. Here is an open area where you spend lots of your time engaging with different NPC characters, upgrading gear, progressing the story, and taking on side quests rather than the main one. Characters here are not just for conversation and plot progression, they also provide stat bonuses and a variety of perks stroke equipment that will help you in your progression through the dungeons, depending on the friendship level. Once a few people have been spoken to, you are then started in your first dungeon and how combat works. The combat is pretty simple mechanics. It houses a mixture of light attacks, heavy attacks and dodge rolls based on the amount of stamina available to you. You often switch between the light and heavy attacks whilst waiting for the perfect moment to combine with a magical attack. Later on, you're also given a range of powerful conduits, which basically work like ultimate attacks. These are based down on a cooldown timer, which can be augmented later to feel quicker based on certain attacks. For me, I soon fell in love with the Butterfly Super Attack, and a toy that distracts enemies before exploding and doing some big damage. Enemies are pretty easy to avoid and attack patterns to work out, with you progressing to your first boss. Again, this really didn't give me any trouble, but was more of a guide on how these would play out later in the game, with either your arena elements to damage a boss or arena magic powers in combination with your attacks. Magic is done very differently here, with regions giving you 2 very specialised attacks that will only work in the region you got the powers from. You cannot combine them or use one region's power in another's location, and there is a reason for this. The region in question and the dungeons within that are built around it use those specific powers. For example, the swamp level gives you the ability to create ledges, which all the dungeons and the region itself often place high inaccessible paths to progress. The snowy level provides you with a snowboard power, which allows you to travel across special grinding rails, giving you access to different areas. All regions give you a close and far away special power which you can use at any time whilst in that zone or zone's dungeons. While exploring the regions, you are free to use said magic freely. However, when in a dungeon, you have to manage your magic MP bar to ensure that you don't run out in a crucial moment. In general, days are split between morning, noon, evenings and night. Mornings give you the option to pick which region to explore that day, though a lot of these are inaccessible until you progress the story. Noon sees you arrive at said region to explore and enter one of the dungeons available. However, you can ignore fighting and just find one of the many scenic spots to simply admire the view and reflect. Doing so will provide you with a raised stat that is different depending on the region and location in said region. Evening is back to the home hub to upgrade and spend some quality time with the locals, should you so wish, which in turn will improve your relationship with them and net some lovely rewards. Night is time for bed, or you could watch TV or read a book and have a chance to raise 2 other stats, but at the cost of temporary health drop for the following day. To increase your general damage/defense level, you should need to upgrade your weapons and armor, which can be done at the local smithy or gear shop. To pay for these, you'll need Hinterberg coins you gather from finding the regions and dungeons, and monster parts for killing said monsters. The game itself has a unique way of providing you enhancements. For example, collecting monster parts allows you to exchange them with a group of dancing monster cosplayers who will give out permanent attack or defense boosts. Later, you meet a scientist and a smithy who allow you to augment weapons and conjures and charms further. They largely consist of modifiers to things like damage output or ability cooldowns, but some can also be game changers like MP or HP on hit. Working out what your playstyle and tailoring them to that is easy and simple, and made doing said dungeons less of a chore, knowing that I was always getting some reward regardless of the outcome. Now, this game is very much a slow burner, with the story and characters taking a good quarter/half of the game's momentum away from fighting, and this may be off-putting to some. Next up is graphics. For me, I love the look of the visual crisp look of its low poly stance, as it actually makes the game more visually striking in my opinion. Combine this with the diverse settings and cute character dynamics, it all makes this a winner. Monsters have been designed around the Austrian culture and gave off that close to home feel, which allowed those outsiders of the culture like myself to still enjoy and engage with. The game has 4 regions: Duberkogel, Hinterwald, Kolmstein and Bumschlaf, which house very distant aesthetics, challenges and encounters. Within these regions are a variety of dungeons, helpfully separated into tier levels that are numbered relative to your defense rating, allowing you at a glance to know what chance you have when finding them. Some dungeons are hidden altogether and can only be discovered through exploration of use of a certain character's levels. For example, one dungeon's location will only appear when your friendship level with a dog is high enough. Scenic spots are also beautifully designed and are enjoyable to do without the added benefit of stats being raised. There are a number of puzzles within each dungeon, and all seem to provide that nice spot of being minimal effort versus brain bending in order to solve. As with some RPGs, there is a nice collection of environmental puzzles for platforming, like pulling levers, moving platforms and rotating landscapes. As each dungeon puzzles are still tied to the area's regional magic, the puzzle design is varied and engaging. It pushes you to use your powers in interesting ways, and makes each dungeon feel like it's been designed with the puzzle and the magical powers first, rather tagged on as just a gimmick. A good half of the game is about knowing the local NPC characters and raising your friendship level to get those juicy rewards. Thankfully, in doing so, you get to engage with some good dialogue that helps you understand their ambitions, desires and resentments. You see, some locals have welcomed the boom of the magical tourist into town, where others are more resentful their way of life if it's being destroyed for a quick buck. Once you delve in the mixed collection of characters, you can start to really warm to their personalities, and I often found myself engaging with them even if there was very little in what I wanted as a reward perk. To ensure a holiday theme, the developers have included special stats from the usual ones, which are relaxation, amusement, familiarity, and renown. These are critical in how you engage with some characters, as some will not interact with you without a high specific stat in particular areas. Finally, it's sound. The game has no voice work, with the story and interactions preferred to be told by subtitles, which suits the game's cozy feel actually. This also allows the music and general storytelling and weapon sound to take precedent when engaging with dungeons or exploring regions. Like the visual influences, sound has also been elevated to be more than just a background noise, with each chirp of a bird or a magical attack providing an engaging experience. The music also hits perfectly with its adventurous soundtrack from Wobble Sound, and combining that with deep, meaty weapon sounds, booming explosions, and subtle environmental noises, it shows that care and attention has been carefully curated to ensure the player is entertained regardless of location. My recommendation is actually a good quality headset, which will give you the best experience for those relaxing moments in those beautiful scenic spots. And this leads me on to the rating of the game. Now, I rate games in order of avoid, on sale, great purchase, and must own. My rating for Dungeons of Hinterberg is a must own. This will be a Marmot game in that it splits between action, relaxation, and story. For some, this will be something you will not enjoy. For others like myself, this was a joy to play and something perfect to relax into without any stress. I'd say this is the perfect game for when you are on holiday and don't want to stress out about anything. The game is currently priced on Xbox at £24.99 or approximately $30, and depending on your skill and patience would give you well over 20 plus hours worth of gameplay. Combine this with a plethora of hidden collectibles, weapon upgrades, NPC character leveling, and you can easily add another 10 hours into the mix. This is also on Game Pass, so for those who have that, you can enjoy this for free. The real beauty of this game is that it's there to instill in you that you should give yourselves regular breaks from your busy working life and experience the world around you. And that's a lesson I think all gamers should learn in these modern times. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I do hope you like this review, and if you do, please like, share and subscribe if you so wish. And if you would like to put some notes or even just a comment in the comment section, I do like reading them. Anyway, have a great time gaming, and I'll see you all again soon.